this video together to take you through how I breed koi. I've got a really small home setup and I've had some really great results in the last couple of years. So this is koi breeding made easy. Okay, this is what you're going to need. The first thing is a spawning pool. So this can either be your pond or ideally it's a porta pool of about 3,000 liters. The next thing is spawning material. So that's what the fish are going to spawn on and where you're going to hold the eggs. The third thing is pond filtration. So you really need good water quality during this process. So you'll need some form of filtration, and I'll take you through each of these steps later on. You'll need lots of oxygen, some household bleach to disinfect the spawning material. You'll need some malachite green to disinfect the eggs once they've been laid. You'll need a really large bowl to disinfect the spawning material in. And then obviously you'll need a female, and I recommend 2 males over 40 centimeters. And I'll take you through how to choose those fish during the course of this video. There's essentially 3 steps to getting this right. The first thing is spawning preparation. So that's what you do before the actual spawning itself. Then the easy bit is actually spawning the fish. And then the third part is making sure that you've got a decent hatch rate in terms of eggs that hatch. Okay, looking at the spawning preparation, I really think the best way to do this is in a porta pool. So not in your main pond, in a spare pond, in a porta pool, and it must be at least 3,000 liters to allow the fish to spawn properly. Of course, you're going to need a very important part of making sure that your hatch rate is good is cleaning your spawning materials. So what I do is I take a large bowl, I put a couple of capfuls of household bleach into the water. I soak my spawning material literally for 6 to 8 hours in the bleach. I make sure that spawning material is absolutely clean. Importantly, before I do anything else, I wash it off. I rinse it off thoroughly and then allow it to dry in the sun completely. So there's no trace of bleach on the actual spawning material when you're going to introduce it into your spawning pond. But really cleaning the spawning material helps massively in terms of your hatch rates. The next part that you need to get right is air in the spawning pond. I prefer to use about 6 air stones. And then I keep the filter running all the time. So I've got the spawning mops in the water. I've got 6 air stones, and I've got the filtration running full on before I put the koi. So at this point, you've got a clean pond or porta pool. You've sterilized your spawning brushes. You've put them into the pond. You've got fresh water. You've got lots of air going through your 6 air stones. And you've got your filters in your pond running. So here you can see my setup. You can see the air stones going. I've used some shade cloth for spawning material. I've held it down. I've just put something heavy to keep it under the water. Put commercial spawning brushes. But it's important to get the oxygen into the water. I've also used an additional pump, just spraying water over the surface. So lots of oxygen coming into the pond. So for most people, this is the most exciting part of the breeding process. You select your breeding pairs and you start your spawning. What you must realize is you're not the Einstein of the koi world. You're not going to invent a new variety or a new strain. You'll have lots of fun, but the best advice is absolutely keep it simple. The best way to do that is always breed type with type. So it's metallic koi with other metallic koi, kohaku with kohaku. Go Sankey like Sankey and Shower are more difficult to breed. Possibly the easier one of the two is Shower, where you just select the black fry. But importantly, keep it type with type. Don't try and mix up your varieties. You'll find the results will be a lot better if you stick to that rule. In terms of number of fish when you're spawning, I always use 2 males and 1 female. You get higher fertility rate, better hatch rate, which ultimately means there's going to be less fungus on the eggs, and the water quality that you'll raise the fry in will be better. So it's 2 to 1, 2 males, 1 female. Okay, selecting male versus female, and this feels like it's a subject all on its own, but there's a number of ways to get it right. Obviously, you'll work it out when they spawn or if they don't spawn, but the simple way is females have bigger bulk than males at the same size, and that's clearly visible between 2 fish. When you put them next to each other, the females are normally the bulkier ones. If you're lucky enough, your female will be full of eggs, and you can actually see it in the shape of her body. The second thing is the males at breeding season might have a very rough feeling around the gills. So you can feel the gills. If there's a rough sandpapery feel, that normally indicates that it's a male. The other way of doing it is looking at the pecks. So males normally have a sharp triangular peck when the female has a more rounded peck. So that's often an indication as well in terms of sexing the fish. And then the other way is looking at the vents of the fish. So the vents of the fish look a lot different, but it really takes a bit of working with fish to understand what the difference is between the two. I've put a picture up here that you can have a look at. But yeah, hopefully collectively across these different ways of sexing the fish, you'll be able to work out which fish to put into the spawning pond.
Here we've got 3 Sankey for breeding. 2 males and a female. The female's in the middle, the male's on the edges. These are really nice fish. The male is about just under 80 centimeters. I'd say the female is close on 70, and the other one must be about 60, 67. Maybe the other two are just under 70 centimeters. Really nice sumi, nice white, a nice red. The big long male has possibly got the best body shape of the 3, but really cracking fish to do some breeding with. Hopefully we get some really nice Sankies from these 3.
I prefer to introduce the koi to the spawning pond early evening or a few hours before sunset. It gives them time to acclimatize to the pond and just makes a much easier introduction. A question I always get asked is how long is it going to take them to spawn? And how long do I leave them in the spawning pond for? Well, typically it's normally within 4 days. So I find you don't have spawning on the first morning. You'll possibly have on the second, and far more likely on the third day. But what I think is if they haven't spawned within 4 days, take them out and then start the process again with another combination of breeding fish. So when you've finally got eggs, you need to make sure that the spawning parents have actually finished spawning. So make sure they're not spawning anymore. If they're done, you can take them out, remove them, put them into a separate pond where they can recover. Or if you don't have a separate pond, put them back into your main pond. But the important thing is you don't want them spawning in your main pond. So make sure they've finished the spawning process completely. Remove them from the pond. And then you're left with a spawning pond full of eggs. Importantly, keep your oxygenation running, keep your filter running, keep everything as is as it was during the spawning process, because it's going to take a couple of days for those eggs to hatch. Normally about 4 days, up to about 7 days, depending on the temperature. Hotter temperature means the eggs hatch a lot faster. What I normally do is a day before the eggs are due to hatch, I switch the pumps off, so there's no water being sucked into pumps or sucked into a pumping system. I block the inlet that leads to the pump from the pond, and I just have aeration running through air stones. What you can do about 24 hours after the spawning is put some malachite green in the water. I think the dosage that I normally use is about 15 ml per 1,000 liters. But importantly, you need to follow the dosage on the bottle that you've got, depending on the strength of the malachite in the bottle. That helps with disinfecting the. Here you can see some of the fry that I got from a shower spawning. Lots and lots of babies. This is in a 6,000 liter porta pool. You can see you're actually going to have far more fry than you can deal with. I suggest you actually take out some spawning material and only hatch as much as you. What I often do straight after spawning is I actually fill up the spawning pond with fresh water, but I trickle it in very slowly. Importantly, sudden water changes will either kill the eggs or kill the fry. So new water needs to get introduced really slowly. A good idea as well is to bring your water level down when you're spawning. So actually don't use it at full level, bring it down, and then slowly top it up during the course of the hatching period. What I've also done previously is if I find the water's getting a bit a bit foul, I drain the water down and fill up with fresh water. But importantly, because you've got your pumps running during this process, it just helps to keep that water a lot fresher. But obviously, the pumps need to get switched off once the pumps do need to get switched off about a day before your fish start hatching. Something else that works really well is to grow a separate colony of Daphnia and then introduce these into your pond once your eggs have been laid. They help clean the water, but then obviously provide a on-hand source of food for the fry. Check out one of my other videos where I look at how to create your own Daphnia culture, but really one of the best foods to grow koi fry very quickly. Obviously, only do this once your pumps are switched off and you're just running air stones in the water, because you don't want the Daphnia to get sucked up into the filter system. These are the results from one home breeding season, and what I've got right through that exact same process that I've taken you through. I think the results are pretty impressive. I've only got about 10,000 liters of water besides my main pond, and every year I produce some really, really good babies of show quality that I can keep or move on, pass on to friends. So hoping that you have the best of luck spawning for yourself. Please put your comments down, like the video, share it, and subscribe to my YouTube channel. Thank you.